This is Siddharth from Quytech. Today we'll talk about uh, strategies for B2B startups and how they should plan their product development. I see a lot of questions coming to me about what should be there in an MVP. Now, MVP is a minimal viable product. A lot of companies who want to start with B2B SaaS, they come to me and ask, what should I be put in the MVP? Now, first thing, MVP is the base product, the basic product that needs to be sold to the market. So the first version of the product that is actually present in front of your customers. So important that you need to understand what is important for your customers and what is not, and where do you want to put the investment in. For example, let's say some of the features of MVP like billing and subscription management may or may not be required in your SaaS product. So if you are, it depends on your, the way you want to sell. So let's say you want to have people directly finding your product online and buying it themselves. I call it a DIY model. In that case, you definitely need a subscription and billing system within the MVP. But if you're planning to sell directly to customers, then you may not need that, because in direct selling you may have different plans, different features, or different costs being sold to different customers. So in that case, your billing and subscription may not work, or it's definitely not required in the MVP. And also, your target customers is important. So what kind of customers you are targeting? In a typical startup scenario, especially B2B, there are many customers in a single industry, and you cannot target all of them. So customer targeting becomes very important. For example, you have, let's say, a CRM space, and there are thousands of CRM out there. But if you're building a product for, let's say, creating a CRM for a farm-based company which is selling meat and poultry products, then it's a niche category, and then your MVP should have features for that niche category. But if you are creating a B2B SaaS product for something which is pretty early, or there's not a lot of competition, then you should start with a lot of generic features that you can have, and that can be targeted to several different customers, and slowly you will know what features specific to certain segments can be built into it. So that's how an MVP needs to be planned. There's another set of questions that I get asked a lot is, how do I segment my customers? So and how do I target all of them? So sometimes I see startups coming up saying that I have 5,000 customers as total addressable market, and I say that you cannot sell to 5,000 customers at one go, but you need to segment them and make sure that you are serving your segment well. And there lies the problem, because how do you segment a customer? So I'll take an example. We got a client who wanted to create a B2B SaaS product for the transportation industry. And after having talking to them, they said they want something that can work across the transportation industry. So I personally talked to certain of the customers, potential customers. I talked to certain, I had a look at some of the softwares that are already there or being used by these clients. We figured out there were primarily 2-3 different segments in the transportation industry also. So there was the bulk segment, which was carrying cement and other construction goods. There was the OEM segment, which was carrying vehicles like for companies like Toyota and Honda, and basically OEM carriers, and providing them logistics support. So the needs of these two segments were very different. So the bulk segment just wanted software to track their fleet and see where their expenses are going, whereas the OEM segment wanted a complete 360 view of their billings, their invoicing they're raising, and the whole customer lifecycle management. So very different viewpoints, very different pain points, and there you have a market which you can address. So that is where all boils down to your market and the product features that you want to build in initially. So similarly, I mean, there could be cases where you want to create softwares for care homes or maybe fitness centers. But then, you need to look at what is the kind of segment these particular care homes are in or fitness centers are in. What are the needs, and you can have a definitely niche market which can be easily targeted. So at Quytech, we have been helping a lot of startups realize their ideas into fruition, go live, and then also gain investors. So we have several hundreds of case studies where successful products have been launched, and companies have got follow-on investment and scaled up very well. In fact, we ourselves have a mobile CRM product which has around now 80,000 users, and we have very satisfied customers with us who have been with us for almost a decade now.